Hey folks, today I'm going to be showing you how to paint this gorgeous little Christmas tree ready for your greetings cards or just a fun watercolour that you want to do this festive season. So grab your watercolours, grab your brush and let's get started. On this painting you want to start by mixing your greens. So my greens are both quite ugly by themselves, so I mix them together and make what I like to call an average green. Then I want to take a deep breath and try and paint a straight line. So I actually get quite nervous doing this because straight lines are hard and it's watercolor, so you know that it's a little bit unreversible. So try and draw yourself a straight line, and then let's get these branches going a little bit longer than the previous one, and they alternate in between, so they're not touching that stem in the middle. They are just poking out here and there. So get a few branches on. You don't want any of it to be empty. And then once you feel like you've found a balance, you are ready to go. So I just want to clean my brush and reset. Get myself a little bit of yellow ochre and a tiny bit of brown. And I'm just going to paint the pot. I nearly said jar. The Christmas tree pot. So we're going to paint our pot on there. It's longer at the top and then it's smaller at the bottom, and the edges, they're not straight, they're just at a slight angle. And whilst it's still wet, I'm going to dab a little bit of a darker colour. I like to use purple for my shadows because it's still quite warm, and then I'm just going to let science happen, let that do its thing. Now I'm ready for the branches. So you might want to watch carefully with this one because it's a very quick yet very easy technique. So it's all about putting your brush to the side. Your brush naturally has a thin point at the end and a fatter point towards your fingers if you push down slightly. So I want to get a thin line where it touches the branches, and then as I'm kind of pulling backwards and also pushing down, and it creates this little tree-like effect. So I will do the top in just a moment, but for now I'm just doing what's easy for my hand position. I'm just trying to do the underneath ones, and I'm also going at a bit of a V shape along the branch. So if you need to pause, then feel free to pause because you might want to practice these leaves separately rather than doing it on your painting for now. But you can see it's really quick. It's just a very quick dash. Or just be silent so you can see the dashes. But I'm not pushing forward. A lot of people end up with really fat leaves from the tip to the end because they're accidentally pushing forward. I'm pulling back ever so slightly to create that thin line and then getting my fat tree. So do the whole area of your tree. Don't let them overlap just yet. We're going to do that in the next round. And when you feel like you've done all your branches, it is worth just having a quick look and seeing whether you're missing anything or if there's any gaps. You can always just pop a couple of branches, not branches, sorry. Well, yeah, branches as well as leaves. So let's just finish this off and then we will let it dry. But we'll look at it face on, and already that is cute. Cute. Okay. So now that it's dried, you can see how that shadow has blended in a bit and the leaves have softened. Now what I want to do is just slightly change my colour. So I'm mixing a bit of blue and a bit of green together, and I'm going in between these gaps. I don't mind now if these leaves are overlapping because I've actually made it a little bit thinner, so it creates quite a dynamic look. You have a bit of contrast, and also the different colour just makes it a bit more interesting, because if it was the same colour, yeah, it would look okay, but it looks a little bit better when we're showing something different to the audience. So now repeat the same process, going in between the gaps. If they overlap, absolutely fine, but we're trying to fill out this tree, make it feel a bit more chunky. So just spend a couple of minutes now going through those, and then we'll let it dry again and we'll move on to the next part. So it's time to decorate our tree. You might want to choose different colours depending on how yours looks, because your combination of colours can look good or look bad depending on if you've got a cold background or warm background. I'm choosing this red, and you can see they're quite wet, so I'm just going to scoop up the middles, and it actually makes for quite a nice bauble. Keep scooping until that middle feels like it's dry. Keep getting your dry brush, using your rag, and just popping that on the edge. It gives your bauble a slight glow, and it means that the edges are a little bit darker, which makes it feel a little bit rounder, and it just adds a bit more texture. So add some baubles. Think about what size you want. Do you want them to be the same size? Do you want them to be different sizes? Same color, different color? It's totally up to you. I opted for different sizes and different colors, and I'm really thinking about the placement. Where do I want them? On the branches themselves, just dangling below. How many colors do I want? These are all the questions that you can ask yourself to make yours a little bit more interesting than mine. Although I am happy with mine. It sounds like I'm not happy, but I am. So pop your baubles on now, and take a step away to have a look at it and see whether you like it. Also, when it dries, it slightly changes, so you might want to let it dry and then come back to it and think, I like that, or I need more bubbles. Okay, so the final step is to add a darker green. So I'm just using my pure dark green, and I'm going at a slightly different angle. I'm not quite going at the V shape, but it's more of a narrow V, and I'm just filling in any gaps that I think could be filled, and it's slightly closer to the stem. So again, this adds more of a contrast. We had the medium tone to start, we had the light tone as our second layer, and now we're adding a darker tone, and this is way more interesting for us to look at. It looked good before, but this will make it look even better. So we don't need to do as many. It's just going along the stems, filling out the tree a little bit more, and very quickly you'll realize that you've painted a stunning Christmas tree. So team, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you had fun with that, and I hope you can make some lovely greetings cards for your friends and family. And I'll see you next week for the final lesson of the year.